Hi guys, welcome back to L&D Design. In today's video, we are going to be talking about why you should be painting the walls in your home. If you're curious about our top few reasons why you need to slap a good coat of paint on a few of the walls in your house, stay tuned. Reason number one is just to give your home a refresh, to make it feel like new. And paint can be a really inexpensive, budget-friendly way to do this. Now, it's not as cheap as making a Dollar Tree DIY, which I do love to do, but it's not as expensive as some other things you may really want to do to refresh or revamp your home. For me, I think about shiplap. I want a shiplap wall so bad, but I can't afford it, especially not with the price of wood these days. Wallpaper can also get pretty expensive, wallpaper, wall blush, and also taking down walls. So when you think about giving your home an update or a refresh, paint really can be one of the most inexpensive ways that you can do that, making your house feel like new and just giving it a nice update. Our favorite paint is Valspar Signature. We always use flat. We don't like any kind of sheet on our walls. And I know flat is harder to wipe down, but honestly, we haven't really had that many problems wiping the walls down using flat paint. I will leave our favorite colors of the Valspar Signature paint down below in the description box in case you're curious what colors we have in our home. My second tip is to brighten up a room or to make a room feel cozy. So, unlike me, if you have a giant house or giant rooms, it might feel a little stark. It might feel a little sterile. You might want to pick a really deep color or a warm color to really make that room feel nice and cozy. Or if you are like me and the lighting in your home, not so great, you may want to pick a color that's really going to brighten up your space. Before we moved into this house 3 years ago, our old home had a wall of windows all across the front of the house. We had so much light, we could have done any color we wanted to do and it would have looked amazing. However, in this home, we have some really dark spots in each room. We don't have a lot of natural light. And no matter how many lamps we put in a room, you can only put so many lamps in a room. It just feels kind of dark and dingy. So painting the walls a nice, bright, airy color has really helped us make our home feel brighter and more open, make it feel larger and more inviting. So using paint to either brighten up your space if you're dealing with awful lighting or maybe a small space, or maybe using paint to really bring some warmth and inviting feeling into your space is a great reason why you should run to the store and grab some paint swatches. Reason number 3 is to match your vibe, your decor, your aesthetic. Maybe you've moved into a new house and you're stuck with the paint that's on the walls and you think, oh, I don't want to take all this time to paint. I also don't want to hire painters. We do all of our painting ourselves. But maybe the color of those walls is just not matching your vibe. Or maybe you're in the same house you've been in, but your aesthetic and your style has changed over time. I think back years ago, we're talking probably 10 years ago. I had an office and it was deep red and I was so excited. I purposely painted it deep red because it was something I really liked back then. If I was in that same house now, believe you me, that office would not be deep red anymore because that's just not my vibe. That's not my style anymore. If I just kind of left those walls red, everything else I put in that room and the feeling that I got when I walked into that room wouldn't be the feeling that I would want, and it wouldn't match my aesthetic. So slapping some paint on your walls can really help bring your room into your aesthetic, your vibe, and really tie in all of the other things that you have in your home that you love, like furniture and decor, and make it feel like a space that you really want to be in. Our next tip is touch-ups. This is going to sound silly, but this is a big one. When we first moved into this home 3 years ago, the previous owners were nice enough to leave an entire store of paint cans in the garage for us. However, we had no idea which one went to which room. There were colors in there in the garage that didn't even look like they were in the home. It was very tricky. So when you start hanging things and you have nail holes, or maybe you put anchors in the wall, and if you've ever tried to take out an anchor that's not a screw-out anchor, it leaves a giant hole in your wall. I wouldn't suggest it. If just general wear and tear happens to your walls, if you have no idea what color that paint is, you're going to have a hard time touching that up. You can't spackle it and sand it and then put a coat of paint over that spot because, well, you don't know what color to use. Insert picture somewhere, here, not sure, of our daughter's room. For some reason, she has decided to pick off a spot on her wall. I don't know why. It's either boredom or she's trying to fall asleep, but we have no idea what color paint that is. We found a color that seems similar in the garage, but it didn't seem the same. And we're not going to be painting her room this year, so we've actually come up with another hack. Hopefully it works. Fingers crossed. But we have been living with that spot on the wall for months now because we can't patch it because we have no idea what color to put over it. So if you just paint the walls in your home a color that you know and you're going to remember, if you ever want to do a touch-up, boom, you have the paint to go right over it. A side tip for this is to write down your paint colors. This is something that I just recently started doing, either when we sell the house many, many moons from now, or maybe my brain just doesn't remember in a few years when I need to do a touch-up or I need to refresh the paint in a room, what colors I used. So you can take something as simple as an index card and just write the wall colors on there. For example, I have bathroom and kitchen are all the same color. I know exactly what color it is. I know exactly what color our bedrooms are and exactly what color our main level is going to be when we're finally finished painting it. I'm still going with that. But just writing them down will help you remember if you need to do a touch-up or you need to fix paint in a room. I might have that in the garage, or maybe I don't, and I just need to go run out and buy a quick quart of this paint. Also, make sure that you put the sheen. We always use flat paint, so it's not an issue for us. But if you use different sheens of paint, you're going to want to make sure that you write down the sheen. Our final reason you need to go to the store and buy some paint for your walls is to do an accent wall or a statement wall. Like I've already said, I really want shiplap, but it's just not in the budget, to be quite frank. So instead of giving up on my dream of a beautiful accent signature wall, I'm just going to use paint. So we actually have an accent wall that we're going to be doing in our living room. We're not exactly sure what color yet. We want like a neutrally kind of green, something that's going to be kind of deep but not too deep. We're very picky people over here. But if you want to really make a certain room, a certain wall in your room pop, you want to do an accent wall and you can't afford wallpaper, you can't afford to do some cool thing, paint is a great option. You can either paint that whole wall one color like we're planning to do, or you can do a really cool design on that wall using several different paints. And if you're not worried about the sheen, you can also always get the little samples. This is something I did many moons ago when I painted a very cool accent wall in my son's room when he was little. I don't have pictures of it anymore, or I would insert them. It was really cool. It was a cool stripe design. It had diagonal stripes, and oh, it was just amazing. It took me a week, but it was awesome. And all I did was went to Lowe's, I picked the colors that I wanted, and I just got those little paint samples that are like $3 or $4. And that was enough for me to do the stripe accent on that wall. Even cheaper than buying a gallon of paint. Now those samples do not come in flat, so it was a satin finish. So if you're not worried about it, you most definitely could use paint samples. But you can either do all one color of an accent wall, you can do a design, a pattern. There are so many options to really bring a focus wall into your room just using paint. I hope you guys enjoyed these reasons why you need to run to Lowe's, run to Home Depot, run to your hardware store, grab some paint, and go ahead and get that roller and start painting in your house. If you guys liked this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up so we know that you like these types of videos. Any comments, leave them down below, including if you have a really awesome green color suggestion for our accent wall. I would love to hear all of those suggestions. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and we will see you in the next video.